Hi, I'm Russian Bear. So today I want to talk with you about sanctions, about economical sanctions towards Russia. Recently, cause of Russian-Ukrainian conflict versus Russia, Western countries made a lot of sanctions. They also frozen our assets, $300 billion assets. But we still have 300 billions more inside of our country. So we still have some back side. So how it will influence Russia and Russian people? Western politicians, they think that it will destroy Russia as in the past USSR was demolished. And why USSR was demolished? Because it was very low prices on oil, because of war in Afghanistan, and errors in economical planning and mistakes in not mistakes, but weakness of Politburo, weakness of rulers. Gorbachev and his colleagues, they were kind of unsure what to do. And when you are unsure, you make some mistakes. But these mistakes they made, they gave Russia glasnost, like freedom of speech and something like this. But in terms of state, let's talk today in terms of state. We are not talking about people morals, we're talking about historical process today. So in terms of state, it wasn't really right steps to make state stronger. So right now, all these sanctions, what they make prices higher in shops. They make life of regular people worse. But in Russia we have several types of people, You could divide people by income very easily. So we have some like 5% people in Russia, they are very rich. We could say like rich. They have Mercedes, they have big house, big flats, they have they have several $100,000, something like this. So 5%. Then we have kind of 10% upper middle class. We have then like 30% middle class. So we could call it like 40% middle class. Then we have low middle class, which is kind of not really poor people, but people who do not have, who do not go abroad, who has barely enough money to live normally, like 30% people, or maybe not 30 but 20, and the rest it's poor people, or people who is really, for them it's very hard to survive. So yeah, and for each group of these people, these sanctions, they will give different results. Very rich people, yes, they feel the sanctions because now they can't go abroad, now they can't get their dollars from bank accounts and something like this. For medium class, it's kind of also a bad thing. So right now, most of the people who run from Russia, and we have plenty of people who run from Russia, it's high class and some of middle class people. They can always go back, but for now they are running, and they're running to Turkey, to Georgia, Thailand, something like this. Someone ran to Europe who has visit permit, the visa, but it's not much people. So, but at the same time, it's most active people. So what these sanctions make to Russia, they make most active people run from country. And who stay here? It's people who kind of this medium class, medium low class, not much of medium class living the country. So, and for them, sanctions, they change life to worse, higher prices, but it's not fatal. I mean, in 19th we have much worse scenario, because oil costed there $12. In USSR times, we didn't have medium class at all. So we all were equally poor, and there were like 5-10% nomenclature people who had much better everything. But I mean, so these sanctions which happen right now, they wouldn't drop life level below 90s. It's my forecast. It wouldn't be worse than 90s because of price on oil. And price on oil, they can't go down, because right now all world recovering its economy after pandemic. So after COVID pandemic, right now everyone starting again to produce stuff, to create things. And to do so, they need oil, they need gas, so prices will go up only. So these sanctions, what they make actually? Of course, it's not really pleasant thing, but I very doubted that. It's very funny thing that I see a lot of Western sources where they think that Russians they will start protest activity versus Putin, something like this. It's bullshit. Why? Because he made the system in the past. He is very strong leader, and he makes it very dangerous for you to protest. And people are afraid to go protest. So if you do not protest, you have normal life. If you protest, you may find hard times in your life, and everybody know it, and only some youngsters go to protests mostly. If there will be hunger in Russia, of course people will go to protest. But could hunger be with current oil prices and our reserves? No, it won't, because Russia, it's huge territory with best soils all over the world, with huge resources, food, oil, everything. So it wouldn't. So I think everything which West making right now. Okay, I understand why they doing it. Again, I am for peace. I am against any shooting. But yeah, we talk right now not about moral side. We talk about historical side, about economics, about numbers, and about politics. And politics, if you want to talk about politics, you should have cold head. You should be cynic, pragmatic. And Russians, I doubt that there will be some changes in people's minds, because again, some analytics, Western analytics, they're stupid, I'll say. They compare this situation to USSR. It's totally wrong, because USSR, it was closed country. People weren't able to go abroad to run away. So in USSR, a lot of active people, they were inside. They were concentrated inside, and they didn't have any choice to change situation. They had to go to the street in USSR. But right now, for 30 years, we have open borders, and everybody who do not like stuff in Russia could go abroad, could run away. And a lot of people doing it all the time. So the most active people who do not like stuff, who want to protest, they just go away from Russia. They are not inside. So they wouldn't go to protest. And when you make these sanctions, you just make these people go away from Russia to other countries, because we have open borders and they run away. That's it. So you make actually worse. Our protest activity become even more lower. You make sanctions, this middle class who can go abroad, who is most active, who could go protest, they just go away from Russia. Because it's much safer than starting protesting here, you know. It's much safer, because if you go to protest, you will go to jail with some probability. Not for long, but like 10 days, 30 days, but who knows. So not much people risk it. Some youngsters, okay, they do not have much to lose. When I was youngsters, I was huge Navalny supporter in real life. I went to his headquarters and I helped Navalny as much as I could. In 2012 year, when it was elections to mayor of Moscow, I was volunteer at Navalny headquarters. But then when you become, when you grow a bit and you have your family, you have your job, you do not want to lose it, you do not have problems, you don't want to have problems actually. And when it's dangerous to go protest, you do not do it. And if you could just go away to another country, you do it. So these sanctions, it's totally useless thing. Okay, it makes Russia weaker, of course. As a country, it makes Russian people poorer. Yes. Would it make protests? No. Would it change something? Would it make Putin change his politics? No. Pointless thing. So, we do not know, of course, but it's kind of my point of view right now at the situation. Because I can compare it to USSR. And USSR, we had very different situation, and Putin, he calculated it and he avoided USSR mistakes. He avoided to have closed borders. He avoided to do not have freedom of speech. We have freedom of speech all the time, and right now we still have it in the internet. Everybody has internet, everybody has freedom of speech there. Even though that Instagram closed in Russia already, and YouTube will be closed maybe, but still people will find some places to have some freedom, a bit freedom of speech. People will find it, okay. So this boiling pan on the fire, it wouldn't blow. Because some places, there were some places where evaporation could go. So yeah. And again, I can't just, sorry, I just can't avoid this, but I do not remember any sanctions towards USA when they bombed Belgrade, when they attacked Yugoslavia. I do not remember any sanctions towards USA or NATO for Afghanistan or Iraq. It's very funny, these dual standards. I just want to, I just remembered it, you know. How they could implement sanctions versus themselves. It's like shoot yourself. Yeah. So in the world, they always rule the strongest. And yeah, what I could say. So these sanctions, they are kind of, of course, they are bad for economy, for people. People will become poor. But interesting thing about Russians, do you know? You may not know, maybe. Check our Russian history. The worse it was, the better we work. So when it's really hard for Russians, become much stronger. When it's hard for Russians, Russians become stronger. Of course, in current situation, again, as a human, I am for peace. I do not support Putin. I didn't vote for Putin in my life. I always voted against. And I do not support his decisions. But I see that in geopolitics, there are a lot of dual standards and a lot of lies around. And of course, my vision at current situation that it's awful, and it's big pain for me because I am also half Ukrainian. I'm half Russian, half Ukrainian. But yeah, it's historical aspect. It's how countries, they compete between each other. So this economical war versus Russia, yeah, it will change a lot. It will change a lot, but it will, I'm not sure how it will go, how far it will go. But it wouldn't improve Western values in Russia, definitely. Actually, it will weaken it. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope to see your comments. Bye bye.